Buying a car can be tricky, especially in this car market, and especially if you're somebody that's needing to get a car as soon as possible, or alternatively, you're somebody that doesn't buy cars often, which, let's face it, is probably the majority of us. And so in this video, I want to break down some of the mistakes that you should avoid if you're someone who's wanting to buy a used car. And this is going to be applicable whether you're buying a car for yourself, a friend, a family member, or if you're buying a car in order to grow or expand a car sharing fleet like Turo or Get Around. So let's get started. The first mistake that I want to talk about is correlating value to price tag, because this is an extremely common mistake because on the surface, it really seems like common sense. For example, you may find a $4,000 car like a Ford Fiesta, and you may think that you have found a killer deal because let's face it, spending $4,000 on a car that you can drive to and from work, to run errands, to go out on the weekend, that sounds like an amazing deal. This is especially true with cars like Ford Fiestas because on the surface, they're fairly optioned out. They come with modern day features like Bluetooth and automatic locks and windows. They look really solid and even aesthetic in the exterior and interior, so it's really easy to think that you have just struck gold. But don't be fooled by price tag because cheap cars don't necessarily mean that you're getting a good deal and a good value. And this is absolutely true with all makes, models, and price tags. When shopping for a car, you need to take multiple factors into account, including reliability, maintenance, historical prices, mileage, year, condition, as well as make and model. Because let's face it, a good deal on a Toyota is much different than a good deal on a Kia, even if the price tag of the Toyota is twice as much as that Kia. I've said it 100 times on this channel, and I will probably say it 100 more, but do your research. Make sure that you know and understand exactly what you're buying and exactly what you're looking for. Know the car you want to buy and understand the cost of that car, not only on the basis of purchase price, but also maintenance and repairs. And know the different values between that car if it was a 10-year-old with 100,000 miles or a 2-year-old with 20,000 miles, and how that value changes as the car ages. I would even encourage you to learn what that car was priced at pre-pandemic in 2019 versus what it's priced at today in 2022, because this will give you a much clearer and more accurate picture as to what a good deal actually is. Because 2019 is the last normal year we had in the car market, and though I don't think it's realistic to expect 2019 prices anytime soon, knowing what cars were selling for a few years ago will help you get a much better picture on what a good deal for a car you're looking at today is. The point is that cheaper isn't always better, and just because something is cheap doesn't necessarily mean it's a good value, a good buy, or even a good price. Because at the end of the day, I would buy a $15,000 Toyota all day long, but I would be hesitant to buy even the cheapest Kias or Ford Fiestas. And of course, these are just a handful of examples, but this is absolutely applicable to any type of car that you're looking to buy. Where people can make a massive financial mistake is by impulsively buying a car and not fully understanding exactly what they're buying and at what price point they're buying it at. And understanding the price of your car as well as what type of value that car is something that will help you make sure that you are making the right decision long term. And this is especially true if you're somebody that doesn't see yourself keeping your car forever. If you're somebody that wants to buy a car today and sell it in a couple of years, this is especially important. On a similar note is the mistake of thinking that a car salesman, or quite frankly, anybody that works at a dealership, is your friend. The job of a salesman may be to help educate buyers and to help you make the right decision when buying a car. But let's not forget that this is all done with the end goal of you buying a car and then making a commission. And what I have found over the years, especially given the fact that HP used to be a car salesman, is that the majority of car salesmen and dealership workers actually don't really know what they're talking about. Car salesmen, of course, know what they need to know in order to make a sale, and more often than not, they know how to sell, whether that product be a car, a computer, software, whatever the case is. But these car salesmen are absolutely not experts in the cars themselves and how these cars will either retain or lose value over time, or at least the majority of the time they aren't. The reality is, car salesmen and dealerships are not reliable sources for choosing which car to buy, finding a good deal, or getting a good price. You can find everything you need to know online, on YouTube, Google, or just simply by paying attention to the car market. And so at the end of the day, whatever you do, make sure that you do not rely on car salesmen and dealerships as reliable, valuable sources when it comes to doing your due diligence for a used car purchase. Because even the best car salesmen that may know their product inside and out are ultimately there for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to get you to buy a car. And that brings us to my next mistake that I want every single person to avoid, and that is the mistake of thinking or being convinced that we are at the market bottom. Over the summer, I made a video where I spoke to car salesmen over the phone and I asked them questions about their thought on the car market. And one of the questions that I asked them was, is now the time to buy a car? And nearly all of them said yes. They said that the car market will not go down, prices are not falling, and as a result, if you want a good deal on a car, you should buy one today. It is important to note that since recording that video, car prices have fallen by nearly 10%. The point is, car prices have gone down. They are currently going down, and I encourage you to not buy a car simply because you fear that you are going to miss out on a good deal because we have hit the bottom and thus car prices are going to go up. Because the reality is they simply aren't, at least not for the foreseeable future. And don't let anybody convince you otherwise because they simply aren't being truthful. And last but certainly not least is definitely the biggest mistake that I most commonly see, and that is the mistake of rushing to buy a car. And this kind of brings all of the points that I've discussed in this video together. A sense of urgency when making a large purchase is never a good thing, and it never puts you in an advantageous position as a buyer, whether that purchase be a car, a house, an electronic device, whatever the case is. And this tactic is used all the time in today's current car market, whether it be a car salesman saying, hey, this deal is only available today. If you don't buy by the end of the day, you're going to lose out. Or alternatively, car sellers saying, hey, if you don't buy today, car prices are going to go up tomorrow because the car market is crazy. Whatever the case is and whatever tactic is being thrown at you, absolutely ignore it and never rush to purchase a car. The secret to finding a good deal in this car market, or any car market in general, is to simply be patient. And the moment that a car dealership or a car salesman tells me that I have to buy the car today or else I'm going to lose my opportunity for that price is the moment that I walk away and say, okay, that's fine. And this has actually turned out to be a great negotiating tactic because more often than not, these people end up calling me the next day and say, hey, are you still interested? And more often than not, I am. Patience is key, not only for a negotiating tactic, but also in order to find solid deals as well. I buy a lot of cars. In fact, I currently have 19 cars in my car sharing fleet, and I've purchased more than half of those cars this year, and all were purchased below market value. And I get asked all the time where I find my cars and how I get such good deals on the cars that I buy. And the truth is, I buy all of my cars on Facebook Marketplace. The truth is, I'm incredibly patient whenever it comes to buying cars. I look at third-party car selling websites like Facebook and Craigslist for 30 minutes to an hour nearly every single day. When I'm cooking dinner, when I'm waiting for a meeting to start, when I'm sitting there watching TV at night, basically any time that I have a lull in my day where I'm not actively doing something else, I will be scrolling through Facebook looking for cars to buy. I message hundreds of car sellers per week, and sure, the vast majority of these sellers are not selling cars worth buying, but by reaching out to so many sellers, I'm able to actually find some solid deals, and that's how I found all of the cars that I've purchased this year. But the other good thing that it gives you is knowledge about the car market. By paying such close attention to these third-party selling platforms, you're able to see with your own eyes where the car market is trending, and that is incredibly valuable information. The point is, if you're able to, don't rush to make your next car purchase. Deals are there and they are becoming more and more common. You just have to be patient. But with that being said, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video and I hope it gave you some valuable insight into how you can navigate the car market if you're somebody that's wanting to buy a car either today or in the near future. Like always, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it. So make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.